So, I see a lot of people who are new to the game confused on some of the details of how the baby synergy works. So let me try and break it down for you quite nice and quickly. In the simplest terms, baby is Pokemon Auto Chess's Lost Streak synergy. You're in essence sort of making a sacrifice or a trade-off of early game stability and HP for a lot of the better economy, and much more importantly, some very, very powerful hatch Pokemon. There are three sort of main potential strategies with Baby, each based off of the three sort of amounts you can have for your team. Um, these can be more individually targeted, like you can start a game and go, okay, I'm going to go for Baby 5, or I'm going to go for Baby 7, or I'm going to go for Baby 3. Or you can do it in a bit of a more of a snowballing pattern, although that's a little bit more risky as it means you're going to be lost streaking for quite a long time. For example, you may have a game where you're initially going for 3, don't get a good egg, end up at 5. It happens, and you can get quite lucky, and hopefully, you can get that sorted. Let's go through them in order. Baby 3 is my personal favourite way to play because it's the most sort of flexible. This just involves getting the base 3 babies um, and just rolling with whatever you get as quickly as possible. This will usually be Pichu, Azuriel, and Igglybuff. However, you might get lucky with a nice additional pick for Smoochum, or you might start in a baby region with Cleffa. Obviously, this sort of situation may make it a lot more flexible, and if you can get to baby 4, then that's absolutely going to be the right option. Because how baby 3 works is that each baby will grant a 10% bonus to find an egg. So if you just happen to stroll upon one of these other two, which by that point I would expect you probably have uh, 4 slots, level 4. So yeah, it's ideal. This system is a little bit more complicated though than it sort of explains here. So you each loss, as I said, stacks. However, anytime you win or anytime you make any change to the team that loses the baby synergy, your stack will completely go. So you need to be very careful that you just don't mess with the team too much. Getting an egg also does the same. The chance does not stack between eggs. So, generally, it's best to potentially roll with just one or two, your first 2 eggs. Maybe go for 3 if you're feeling, adventurous. Sometimes you can actually get extra eggs. I've had games where very early on I got 2 eggs straight away and sort of managed to just build a team around it. If that happens, then you are in a very good position. Baby is, in essence, a very random, chance-based strategy. So, but yeah, if you're running baby free and that's all you're wanting to do, the way I like to play is just get in, get an egg or two, and just quickly pivot into whatever you're doing. Baby 5, on the other hand, has a bit of an upside and a bit of a downside. The guarantee of 5 is that you will get 1 egg no matter what if you lose. However, this is normally very, very difficult to obtain before Gyarados, or at least not very difficult, but it can be a bit gimmicky. Assuming no additional picks and no regional babies, you're kind of left with the base 3, the 2 uncommons, the two commons, the 1 uncommon, and then you just kind of have to prey on one of these rares showing up. It can happen, but again, it's just a little bit trickier to do. Plus, it's a bit harder to pivot out by Gyarados, and that's the important thing. Realistically, if you're running Baby 5, you do want to pivot before Gyarados. It's going to be a lot easier for you. If you have nothing by that point, then potentially you might want to go down the route of getting a unique baby such as Chingling. On that note, Baby 7 is probably it's an interesting strategy. It's a lot more reliable to achieve because getting just 7 of these at any point isn't too shabby, especially if you're maintaining a good econ. However, the drawback is obviously that you are going to lose a lot more health because by the time you've got Baby 7, you're going to be taking more damage from other people who are going to have much better teams that can beat you quicker, will have more Pokemon alive by the time that they kill you. You will pretty much need to get one of the two baby unique picks, which I'll say that's two, it's actually three. So you have to either Mantike, Chingling, or Tyrogue, or the other option, potentially, I don't know which route it actually shows up as. I don't think. If I just go to Pokemon, I believe it goes under unique. Kecleon is your other potential option here because Kecleon copies the two high synergies of the team. So if that comes up, that's a very nice option. And I would honestly potentially recommend that as your number one sort of target because, in essence, if you're running a Baby 7 team, you're going to need a quick pivot and a good pivot to really minimize your HP loss. So in this situation, you would very much like to have Kecleon to sort of balance yourself out. It's also just a solid unit in general. The beauty of Baby 7 and the reason you sort of do this is that you have a 4% chance per baby to find a golden egg. Now, a golden egg is game changing because it guarantees that you'll get a shiny item when it hatches. Now, if you don't know, shiny items are items that can only show up if you have a golden egg or you fight a shiny team. Like sometimes you can find a shiny Lugia and Ho-Oh. And these items are very, very good. I mean, some of them, for example, Rare Candy is a very nice little option for sort of rounding out a team, getting potentially a very early sort of mega potentially. Because it automatically evolves Pokemon to its next tier. Dynamax Band increases max HP by 250%, which can be insane on some tankier units. Stuff like the Absorb Bulb is also very, very good. There's a lot of good items. Golden Bottle Cap is another fantastic. I mean, I say this like these aren't all fantastic items, as is. Um, so ideally, the strategy there is that you want to be going for probably one golden egg because it's going to be quite tricky. I mean, you can get two, it can happen, but it's going to be very, very difficult for you, especially with maintaining HP. And that is the essence of Baby, is that it is a balancing act. You're balancing the trade-off of health with the trade-off of having an advantage over everyone, especially in the late game. That's the other drawback with Baby 7. The longer you take, the less likely it is that you're going to have a fully evolved version of your Hatchmon, which is again, it's risky. It's doable, but it's risky. I think as for the hatch Pokemon themselves, I don't really need to go through it. Pretty much every hatch Pokemon has a niche where it is sometimes useful. Some of them are quite nice and versatile, like Haxorus, or you have Crocodile, which will kind of just do good anywhere. If you can sort yourself out with potentially a Seismitoad and or a Primarina, you're going to have a very, very good time with a very strong sound team. Everything works in its own sort of way, um, but they're all very, very solid. And if you are going for some sort of strategy where you're going to end up with two eggs, then a fossil is going to be your best friend. Say, for example, you pick up Primarina and let's say Dragapult. If you can get and you decide, hey, I think I'm going to run a water team with this, or I think I'm going to run a ghost team. You pick up a fossil that's going to match up with your team and just make it work. That's Baby is a very much a just try and make it work sort of team, but that makes it such a fun synergy to play because you're going to have a much more unique team than everyone else around you who isn't playing Baby. You will get into lobbies at times where you're going to have three, four, even more sometimes people playing Baby, and it's going to be a very interesting game, to put it that way. So, with that said, I hope this guide was helpful. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. My name's KalyBad, chronically bad at video games, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you.